Radio Zero.
It's Radio Zero with Rick and Rose. Friday, December 29th, 2023. The last Radio Zero of the century. No, of the 2023.
It's dark out.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's getting lighter.
You can subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Go to radiozero.us. We're live streaming on Facebook on the Radio Zero page and Poster Children page on Twitch at PCJCUSA and on the Poster Children YouTube channel, 5 p.m. Central Time every other Friday, usually. You can patronize us at patreon.com/radiozero. Thanks to our patronizers. All right. I was going to try to put the this computer on priority so there weren't any things, but I can't do both at the same time.
Yeah, but the gamer kid is not here.
Yeah. Oh, he's not. Oh,
no,
he's at
the
okay.
YMCA.
All right, maybe there won't be a problem.
YMCA, yeah. Yeah. We should always make him go to the Y during this time.
Okay. Sorry, I guess I'm trying to do all this stuff and trying
we need an engineer
run
for
the show here.
We need an engineer for the show. You can't do all of it. You should.
Well, yeah. Usually you start talking. And
so
okay. I don't have to. Both do all this.
Usually you start flapping your. So anyway, it's Friday, December 29th. We're gonna do a retrospective of the year. No, we're not, because neither of us can even remember what happened over the past 2 weeks. You have the brain fog too, right?
I don't know if it's brain fog, but I don't have a. I didn't reflect back on the year. Yeah, I didn't. I looked to see who died this year, but then I forgot. There was somebody surprising that I knew. But we usually talk about.
Oh, my dad died.
Okay, great.
But Tina Turner, did she die?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at her bangs because I wanted some bangs. That's where we are now.
Nice
I was
bangs.
like, how come she has nice bangs?
She's dead.
And she died in her 80s or something.
Oh,
right?
yeah. She retired, and there was a great documentary about her. I don't know when that came out. I think it might have been this year or maybe around this time last year.
But let's start in with somebody who didn't die, who's Trump, right? Let's go for the big bucks here. Like, anytime I hear that word on the radio, my ears perk right up because I want to hear everything about Trump, and I want to hear everything about our next president. I want to know. Like, I'm excited. I'm engaged. I'm excited for the class war that's going to happen next year. I don't know about you, but I'm hoping that I have front row seats on the internet.
Yeah, but I'm less thrilled. But yes, go on.
I'm really excited about it because it's. I don't want Biden to win. He's too old. He's old, and also a family member of his did something wrong, with a gun or something, and I wouldn't want that. I want Trump. So no, but what's got me this week with the Trump thing is that like I heard that his name is supposedly not going to be, there's some kind of ruling that his name's not going to be on the ballot for the primary in Colorado. And the minute I heard that, and Maine. First I heard Colorado, and you know what I thought when I heard that? I was like, oh, goody, he's not going to win. That's not what I thought. I thought, oh, holy fuck. What's going to be the retribution for that? First of all, it'll go to the Supreme Court. Nothing is going to happen. So, and then I found like a Lawrence Lessig piece about how, yes, this is bad because the minute that you can ban Trump from a ballot because that he supposedly caused an insurrection, the minute you can do that, you're going to ban.
How quickly you bounce back and forth between right wing.
Yeah, I'm the right wing. I'm the right wing.
Left wing.
Yeah,
like
I believe them all.
It's like a.
I believe them
like
all.
A slingshot.
Yeah, thank you. I think my therapist was alluding to that. She was like, anytime you talk to your husband, keep it short. That's what she said.
So the air quotes, what it is like there's so many the quotes in what you were just saying, they're so deep.
Have you ever listened to Big Black?
It's like nested.
Have you listened to Big Black?
Yeah, but it's like
that's not Steve
it's
Albini.
like
He doesn't want to
nesting.
burn people. He doesn't want to rape people.
It's computer. Yeah, it's like
So
programming. You've got nested statements or nested quotes.
That's right. I do. It's Lisp programming. So I'll continue. Insurrection. So if he caused what somebody is going to call an insurrection, maybe the court, whatever court it was in Colorado, some other fucking right-wing Nazi state, I don't know, Wisconsin is going to ban Biden from being on the ballot. Like it's just, first of all, that first thing is there's going to be like for every action there's an opposite and equal reaction, counteraction, right? There's going to be that, first of all. Second of all,
it may not be equal though. I mean, the thing is,
it probably won't be.
You've got to push back, right?
Okay, wait. Let me do my 3 points.
All right.
Second of all, we have learned by now that Trump could take a giant fucking dump in the Pope's mouth. He could take a shit in the Pope's mouth. I'm just hear me out, okay? And then Biden
Wait a minute.
could say a word. Biden could say a word that started with the letter D, and somehow it would turn into Biden did something wrong. Biden also shat in the Pope's mouth. Like that. That's I have the Pope on my mind now because I was watching the Dalai Lama the other day. What I'm trying to say is you're right. It's not an opposite reaction. It's like a fucked up, like Trump did something wrong, and then the Republicans somehow turn it around so that Biden did it wrong, and everybody believes that Biden did it wrong. It's always this third. And then the third thing is, every single fucking time something bad happens to Trump, he's raising more money, which makes me think that it's his people. The Republicans are behind the taking of his name off of the primary in Colorado and Maine. That's my third thing, is it's Republicans who are doing this.
A false flag operation.
Yes, go ahead now.
I'm just upset that not only do I get notifications from the New York Times about when he gets taken off a ballot, now I get notifications about when he's still on a ballot, like in California. That was the message I got last night. Trump, breaking news, Trump is going to remain on the ballot in California. I'm like, great. Okay, thanks.
And then,
Trump is still breathing.
And then there's like Nikki Haley, like who I thought, I was like, ooh, maybe we'll have a lady president. Like this is how, like, I hope I don't die of more cancer. Like that's what's going on. Like
the clown princess of states' rights.
I was asking for money. Eu estava pedindo dinero para o capoeira. Próximo ano. Okay, if anybody's listening and can speak Portuguese, I was asking for money for capoeira, and you have to ask to a bunch of, what are they called? Like student senators or student fee board representatives, and the head student fee board representative had a giant Nikki Haley like bumper sticker on his laptop. And I was like, "Oh, the kids are into Nikki Haley. That's very progressive of them." So I'm like, would I rather have Nikki Haley than Trump for president? Yeah, probably, maybe. I don't know. Which dog's shit do I want in my mouth? Do I want the shit of a female dog or the shit of a male dog? I don't know. Female dog shit might taste different.
It kind of doesn't matter.
Anyway,
I mean,
yeah. What did she do? Why am I talking about her?
Oh, she forgot to mention that the Civil War was about slavery. She avoided that. But what did she say today? What she meant. She obviously it was, but she's talking about what it's about now. And
everybody knows it's about slavery. I'm talking about the new thing where it's about states' rights,
freedom, right?
Oh, freedom. That's what she said.
It was about freedom.
I want to be free. Maybe this lady president could be a good thing. I want to be free. I like my freedoms. That's what she said. That's what she said. Yeah, she's like, everybody knows it's about slavery. What I'm talking about is it was about freedom. Man.
I'm trying to look up what she said, but yeah, it had something to do with freedom.
That's what she said. She said no, but it was also about what I was trying to say is it's about freedom. That's what I was also saying. It wasn't just about slavery. It was about freedom. Whoever's running that like shit show, actually, like that's, we're laughing about it, but I don't know, like your token Republican, your Republican on the street who's not a Nazi might listen to that and go, oh, okay.
Well, that was the problem. Is supposedly she's supposed to be the part of the Sanity Coalition or whatever,
Yeah. So
and
the same
kind of.
Yeah.
But
who's left?
Not that she would be able to get the nomination by working that coalition, because it's not a coalition, right? It's not enough people who are going to vote in the primary for her.
Could she be? Are any of these people vice president? Like we may as well just talk about who's going to be the Republican. Who are going to be the Republican winners of the presidency next year? Because that's what's going to happen. So,
you mean like is it going to be Trump Haley?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's probably, that would be a good. Again, I'm put air quotes around good. I mean, that would be
like Hitler was a good man.
No,
like Hitler.
Okay, great.
A good ruler.
Put those words into my mouth. Just go to the complete extreme.
Rick doesn't like Hitler. Just so you guys know, he likes freedom.
Wow. So,
I guess I didn't really need
question.
Extra coffee today.
Nikki Haley did work in the Trump administration, so she's kind of and so she's still, it's possible she could be the VP, but my thought is that maybe it's just going to be some crazy some person we don't know.
Oh yeah,
right.
because he would feel
he needs a puppet.
By...
She's a little she's not quite, although she is pretty puppety. I mean, she did a pretty good job of being a puppet. Well, she can be a puppet. It's just, okay. I don't know if she can be. Yeah, she could probably pull it off if she's, the idea is that he could win and then die and she could be president. I think she could puppet her way through the next 6 months to get the VP position.
Yeah. So like, okay. And I mean, then more people would feel like the normal people, the normal Republicans who kind of feel a little hinky about what the fuck is his name? Trump, will be like, well, Nikki Haley's pretty cool. I mean, she's into freedom and I like freedom. So Cody B here says they all suck and we're fucked.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
then he says Haley is even crazier than Trump, I think.
Oh,
you made Rick laugh, Cody. Good job.
Yeah, no, because that's the way I feel. I just don't even, it's just kind of like, ugh, this is going to be a nightmare.
It's not. It's going to be
forward.
fun. I want the class war. I'm ready for the class war. I even saw a picture, no war except class war. I saw some sort of...
I wish it was a class war. It's not a class war. That's the problem. If it was a class, I mean, you keep talking about it like it'll be a class war, but it's going to be...
I know.
It's going to be, people from... Yeah,
I heard. Okay, I
lower
my mind
middle
keeps
classes against versus each other. I mean, that's the problem. Is that these fascists have co-opted, the middle class and the lower class, the working class, whatever that even means. The not rich people. A large number of them are on that side and will be, warriors for this fascist.
I will remind you
push.
that. What? Wait, I got to stop clicking my lips.
It'd be great if it was a class war. That'd be great, because then we wouldn't have, Trump wouldn't be the candidate if we were actively...
Who would be the candidate?
I don't know.
Wait.
It doesn't make any sense.
If it was a class war.
I guess there is a class war, but the thing is that the people who are going to be fighting whatever you are calling a class war in 2024 are not going to be... It's not going to be like a bunch of... the 99% killing a bunch of 1%ers.
Right.
That's not what's going to happen.
Right.
But I guess that's the way class wars always work. I guess you have your shills, your puppets, your death robots shooting people of their own level.
Let me see if I can re-put this into words. I was struck by something that I heard at some point in the last year, and it was, somebody saying that, we're always, us Democrats, it's liberal Democrats are always saying that, the poor people who are for Trump, are working against their own interests. And then the person said, the same could be said about the, sort of middle upper class liberal Democrats who are like fighting for the poor people. Why don't you just fight for the rich people to, why don't you fight for the trickle down economics? So we're arguing against our own interests too. Our best interests are not to help the quote poor people.
Well,
what do you think about that?
I think, but that's a purely, monetary free market kind of point of view, which is that, what's good for you
that's how you
is
answered
all
it
that's
before.
good. Yeah. It's like, oh no.
I forgot because I have a brain fog.
Yeah, because, like if you get rid
money
of...
is not all that
you get rid of
care
public
about.
schools, and then you have, 10-year-olds roaming the streets, murdering everyone,
We'll put them to work.
stealing the rich ladies' pocketbooks and
put 'em
murdering them in their houses. Or even the middle class people, right? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it's totally like, oh, you're not working in your own interest. And it's like, well...
Yes, we are. We just have a bigger picture and longer view of our own interests.
Yeah, it's not purely profit and wealth, right? It's about making sure the planet is still here and making sure that people don't go hungry and that everyone gets elevated.
Well, again, that's against your own interests because you should just only care about yourself. Tim Bauer says, greetings from South Carolina. South Carolina...
Ooh, hotbed.
Italy? Wow, yeah. Oh, what's going on in South Carolina? I forgot.
I think that's where it was. Nikki Haley, that was where she was when she was talking about this.
Right.
Maybe? I can't remember.
Right. I think you're right. Yeah. Tim Bauer says the first successor. But we're not sure what you're we're not sure what that's about, but that's okay. Okay.
So, talking about the apocalypse, we can talk about our visit to Cosmix. So we talked last time about Cosmix and how it's, basically the test market for the automation of, McDonald's.
So, like just like I'm reading all kinds of stories about, first I think was it the Hard Fork or somebody was talking about the ethics of whether or not you should steal. Was it the Hard Fork guys? Whether or not you should steal from automated checkouts. And one of the guys was like, yeah, you should, or not even steal, but like if
you put all that stuff in the Uniqlo bin.
That's right.
And they tell you, put it in this bin and it's going to read the RFID tags and charge you.
And if it mischarges you, you don't have a responsibility to fix it.
Yeah. Do you go back when you realize, I only got charged for half of the stuff. The robot miscounted. The robot that's replacing the human that you're using as a discount thing. And so the argument is it's not even just stealing. It's like, do you go back? Or I would, and it was like a moral thing. But my thing is like, for that automated checkout to be, it's like there should be a loss, if it's inaccurate and you lose money, like if it becomes a money suck, right? And it's more expensive, the melt, right? What do they call it?
I don't know.
I can't remember what they call it in the supermarket world, the shopping world, but it's the loss, through theft or whatever, or through, not scanning and all that kind of stuff. But if that's more than the money they save on not employing people, then that should be part of it, right? If the machine misreads it, but never, it's like, oh, is there a moral question here? And there's never, again, in the free market, there's never a moral question. It's like, oh yeah, we should eliminate jobs. We should get rid of as many jobs to make more profit. So
in my and I don't know, we probably talked about this already, all of this, but for me, like myself, I would never, I would go back and return the item, or say I would make a stink and say I didn't get charged for this item, just because that's just something that goes with my body, like this unpaid for thing that I've taken, and like I don't feel like that. That's just a total moral. Like I don't need I don't need to have taken that thing. And I'm totally totally okay with other people taking this stuff, though, I guess. But for me, I wouldn't. What about you?
I'm just, I just keep thinking about how many times my Taco Bell order is wrong and then finally complaining through the app and then getting a couple of free entrees or a free entree.
Yeah. So you, for one, welcome our machine overlords because they probably wouldn't get your Taco Bell order wrong. They might, though. Yeah, they might. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about our experience at Cosmics. So this was a great idea that you had. So we miss our
So first off, I thought, because Matt, the drummer, lives in Lamont, and Lamont is right next to Bolingbrook, Illinois, I assumed that, he lives like 5 minutes away from the test Cosmics.
You're from Illinois? Oh, do you know Will Smith? He's from Nebraska. He's my best friend.
Well, so my Chicago suburb map in my head is all about the closer, sort of commuter suburbs, 100-year-old suburbs like the one I grew up in, where it's like they're all right up against each other. There's no, like you drive across 55th Street. What is it? You drive over the highway and you're in Hinsdale, and the only thing that's, separating Hinsdale and Western Springs is the highway. It's like they're completely contiguous, and then you go and you just go a couple blocks or like a mile, and then
we had that with Deerfield in Highland Park.
Yeah, down the Grove. It's like a patchwork, and what I forgot is that as you get into the far suburbs, and we just did this. We went to my aunt's house in Naperville, and Naperville is like an ocean of civil.
We had to cross a border. We had to cross. There were border guards into Bolingbrook, IKEA border guards. We had to show we needed a visa to get into Bolingbrook.
Those far suburbs are much larger, is what I realize now. It's like, so Lamont and Bolingbrook are giant ocean-sized communities. So that was the first thing. So my initial idea was, we'll just go visit Matt the drummer. We'll have our band hang out.
Well, our corporate band our corporate poster children holiday corporate party. Corporate holiday party, which we've had before. We've had it at a bouncy jumpy gym. And so I thought your idea of having that, and we miss Matt. We love hanging out with him and stuff. So your idea that we would rent a van and go wait in the 2 hours, because we know that the line for Cosmics, this experimental McDonald's restaurant, we know that the line was going to be between 2 and 4 hours. So Rick was saying we should rent a van. Was it your idea?
Yeah.
We should rent a van and sit in the van and like pretend we're going on to a show, and we could just sit and talk in there, and Matt could do like a webinar or something, which did happen. Matt conducted some business. We didn't rent a van because we didn't have money, because Cosmics wasn't paying us to play. But we took the car up there, and we had the 4 of us in the car with a kid, and sat and talked for a while, and that was just wonderful. I thought.
Well, yeah. So the Cosmics. It's only got a little tiny entrance for the 4 drive-through lanes,
and there's only one Cosmics alive. There's only one right now in the universe.
That's right.
And they're talking. You can go to COSMCS, like mix, like McDonald's.
Okay, Cosmics. You're doing too much sponsorships things here.
Not
we
a sponsor.
Should be getting money.
Not a sponsor.
Yeah, but they've created a kind of Disneyland line for cars to get to the drive-thru. So it's got this little tiny entrance area, but then they've taken over a parking lot for it was the Aldi, and what else was in there?
There was a Best Buy. It was the Best Buy parking lot. Like,
so was taken over half of it.
And there were cops. There were policemen with guns for real.
Most of blooming Bolingbrook's finest are in the parking lot, direct, like hanging out, basically, just standing around, waiting to take someone down, tase someone. They're just kind of, but they're just sitting there in their.
It was awesome.
Emergency yellow, emergency green vests with police on them. Guiding cars through this, complex maze, just like yeah.
It was awesome. And then we were worried about them, like that, would they be hungry or something like that? But we saw every so often somebody would exit the building. the Cosmics. And from the back, there was no no windows at all from the Cosmics. So you just see somebody come out, like some mysterious person.
Well, there was a glass door and some glass windows, but they were
papered up, so you couldn't see
in. And people would walk up. So like this dude and his wife, right? Like, honey, let's go. And they just kind of like rich people. I don't know where they had parked, but then they just kind of stroll up. We're waiting in line, hundreds of cars. Maybe not hundreds, but it was a 2-hour line. And these people stroll up to the Cosmics and, walk around the building, try to open the door and can't get in. And then they wander over to the McDonald's, which is right next door. But it's like, honey, let's go. Let's just go in there and get it. These people are all waiting. These suckers. Let's just go into the building, or we can go in and say we have to go pee. It's just like total like rich white guy bullshit. It's like, hey, let's just go over there.
See, if I would have been like, let's go look at it. Let's go walk around the building. I would have been like that.
And there
I'm
were
not
a couple
rich
people
white guy.
And so there were people who are not waiting in line. They'd go to the McDonald's and they'd walk over to the parking lot, which is only an employee parking lot because it's a drive-through, no parking.
Yeah.
And kind of at the exit of the drive-through, which you couldn't see, and they would stand and take pictures. Cheaters taking pictures of themselves in front of the Cosmics.
It looked like there were people from like
putting in the 2-hour wait to get a selfie.
It really did look like Disneyland, or like I was at the Taj Mahal. Like it was like that. Like people taking pictures around the Taj, like around the McDonald's or the Cosmics. It was awesome. It was so awesome. So we literally waited for 2 hours, and Matt did conduct some business on the phone during that. That was awesome too. What else? What did we talk about? We talked about movie. We caught up, and we worried about, and then I did a Facebook Live. So, if you're really curious, what was interesting is like, it's a really tedious 2 hours, right? You're sitting in a car for 2 hours, and this is like life, every so often somebody would exit the building there. It'd be like, oh, somebody's coming out, and somebody would come out and bring some kind of food to the police.
Yeah.
And then a worker would leave every so often, but you saw nothing except that
and they were dressed very casually, but what we started realizing is they all had yellow stocking caps.
Yes,
but
that's right.
Everybody who walked out of the building, so there were like 2 or 3 people while we were waiting for those 2 hours who came out of the building. So the building, would lock as they exited. It was kind of like an Oompa Loompa scenario where it's just like you never saw anyone go in, but people were coming out, and they would be dressed super casual, jeans, and then they'd be carrying Cosmics, like a drink and some
drink carrier,
a bag of donuts or something, whatever they call them.
Yeah.
But and they would have the yellow hat, but then like jeans and just super casual looking. And it's like, oh, what's this all about? And my theory is they're the people who maintain the machines, right? It's just all.
Rick thought it was all machines. They're pretty soon they're not going to have jobs. And then Matt was like, what do you think? Like the people who work here, like you think they're like the cream of the best. Like, did you have to apply? You had to be like a stellar McDonald's worker to be able to work at the Cosmics when it opened and stuff. And is there any reason, like, would it open here because McDonald's University was there, or has that moved?
It's still, the headquarters is still, it's not in Oak Brook anymore. They moved it back into the city, but I believe they still have the compound.
So
in
it's
Oak
still
Brook.
a west. Yeah,
I think they still have. Do they still have
thing.
Hamburger University in Oak Brook? But they've gotten rid of the big world headquarters, which was in Oak Brook, and now they're back in Chicago. But yeah, this is close to the McDonald's world headquarters.
So we're waiting in line, and then we got close to the, there's like the second, big giant lot of the turnstiles with the police everywhere. But then you get into the main lot, like the
it's like Disneyland, where you have the big long snaking outside lines, and then you get inside the building, for Space Mountain, and then you're going to be waiting for another hour.
Right. So we got inside that little area, and then we got to the front, and there were 4 lines. The line broke up into 4 lines, and there were 4 giant screens, and we could see the things that you can order. And like I was excited that I was going to get a turmeric latte, forgetting that, like, because I've been told by my oncologist's nurse practitioner that I should eat turmeric so my body doesn't hurt as much anymore. And actually, I think she's right. So I was going to get a turmeric latte, but I didn't realize that that doesn't come with coffee. Like I thought latte meant coffee, but I think it just means with milk or something. So I should have asked for a coffee. And you can customize these drinks on the web, on the menu, but you can't order from the web yet. So you could see, like, you could order up to like 10 shots of espresso in the turmeric latte. But I was excited to get that. And there's some kind of egg, like artisanal egg sandwich with queso and also cheese, and which really really befuddled me, but that's what I was excited to get. And what were you excited to get?
I got a sour cherry energy booster or whatever it's called, energy something.
And it had boba in it too, right?
Which I don't like, but it was okay.
Buc-ee's is so Cody B had a Buc-ee's experience in Tennessee, horrible and awesome at the same time. Wow, I've been to Buc-ee's. It's kind of like Wally's here. It seemed to me like a giant truck stop. So Cody, you're going to have to elaborate on this. But anyway, so we were excited to what we were going to get, and then we got up. There was one car in front of us, and you could hear them ordering, and I was so excited about that. And then like all these little points are like just little blips in your boring life, just, somebody walked out of the building, and then, we're going to be next. And then there's like this giant, like adrenaline rush. Like, oh my God, this is so exciting. And then it happened, right? Then we got into the line. Somebody's calling me. Oh, it's spam risk. Okay, go. We got to the line and then we ordered. You're the person who had to order. Were you scared?
No, I just hate being, because everybody's always talking and then saying random things, and then I'm trying to order for everybody, and then I feel like I'm responsible for getting everything right.
And the person who was saying, okay, she was very, I think my sister noted on, she was like watching the Facebook Live, I think, and she was like, God, she's really patient. The person who was taking your order, she's like, anything else? And we ordered
cream of the crop.
$70. That's what I was saying.
Or the AI.
No, yeah, but so like $70. It might have been an AI. Why wouldn't it have been an AI?
That's what I said. It's like, yeah, that AI is really great.
Anything else? Anything else? Good. Okay. Anything else? $70 worth of food, because there were 5 of us in the car.
And food, again, in quotes.
Yeah,
food.
Food, air quotes.
It was a lot of drinks.
And then we just drove away and
well, no, that's the thing is we actually got up to the drive, so you pay at the kiosk.
Yeah.
You still don't see a person, so you don't have a pay window. You pay directly at the ordering window. And then we finally did get to go, and then you wait. It waits to tell you when it's time for you to go around.
Yeah. Now you can go to the window. Go to window 2. The
blank wall and turn around the corner, and that was the thing. That was the true test. And then we got up to the window, and there were people in there. There were big puffy yellow puffer jacket.
It was a long horizontal window, kind of like, it kind of had like a what is that donut place vibe?
Oh yeah, Krispy Kreme.
It was like a Krispy Kreme, like 50s sort of vibe.
And you could
to the
see,
window.
you could see the people working inside there doing the food prep, and then the person, at the window had the big. I think they had the yellow stocking cap and the yellow puffer jacket, which our 14-year-old wants.
Oh,
now.
I would have killed somebody for one of those.
You got to look. We got to look at it. Like who's going to be the first to sell one of those on eBay? Because that's going to be a fashion accessory, just kind of like in the way old school McDonald's stuff.
But it was really cool looking. When we drove around, it was like, it was like a Disneyland experience.
Oh, and they were playing music, and it was not, holiday music. It was just like people hanging out in a kitchen cranking tunes. That was the one cool thing about it, is you could hear, some cranking.
Were they cranking the Zepp?
No. It's Spanish language, stuff going on. It was great. It was like it all of a sudden. So it seems so inhuman for the whole time, and then we go around the corner, and it's like, it's just a bunch of people hanging out, cranking tunes, making fancy egg McMuffins for people, and garbage drinks, and it's like, okay.
So the turmeric latte was pretty turmeric-y and very creamy.
Drinking dirt.
Yeah, it didn't. It didn't taste as unhealthy as it.
Yeah.
For me, the food did not taste as unhealthy as McDonald's food tasted.
Mine did. So my
Okay.
sour
got like a-
cherry
Yeah.
brain exploder, like definitely it. And even though it was sour, it had the boba and then the whatever the energy shot is, which I could not find the ingredients of. So they don't have there's a pre-workout shot.
Lysine.
And then there's a energy shot you can have in these things, and like after that, my head was about to explode. It's like I got to find out what's in this thing so I can drink
Get
it every
more.
day. Yeah, but the coffee drink, the s'mores. Matt had the s'mores.
Yeah, he was not happy
coffee.
with that.
I wasn't happy. Yeah, it wasn't. So when you get a s'mores drink, and so I think it tasted low, like not as caloric, right? So there's those. I don't go to Dunkin' Donuts, but I know they have those drinks that are like 1,000 calories. Like that's what I expected. When you get a s'mores drink, I expect something that tastes like you're drinking a whole cake, right? And so. Or drinking, a dozen donuts. That's what I expect from a s'mores drink, and it did not taste like that. It tasted a little too coffee. It had too much of the coffee and not enough of the sugar overload. But
yeah. No, I'm sorry. I just went onto the Poster Children Facebook, and I see that April Smith, 15 minutes ago asked, how about if the robot overcharged you? It's like... In my religion, robots wouldn't overcharge me. That would be
but
an
they make a
error
mistake.
in the programming.
Yeah, that happens all the time. That happens in self-checkout. That's the thing, is like always in self-checkout. Like you get the double scan, and then you got to hit the button, and you got to get a person to come over, and they have to take the extra thing off.
Yeah, no, for me, like if I get overcharged or undercharged, I always tell somebody about it. I want to pay the exact fair amount that was deemed correct by whatever entity decided.
The thing is, and this is talking about kind of like fast food karma, where it's like, oh yeah, I didn't get my frickin' apple pie that one time from McDonald's, and it's like, but it's not like I ever get an extra thing from McDonald's. It's never like
we've gotten extra things from restaurants before. Remember, I
from
got
restaurants,
into a
but I'm
fight.
talking about like McDonald's. It's always or Taco Bell. It's always missing or something's done wrong. It's never.
Oh no, that's
you
not
get
true
an
for
extra.
me. Well, actually,
like
probably
the karma doesn't
yeah.
work out.
I don't know. Actually, maybe I've been getting your extra things because
Yeah.
every so often we get 2 of something. We get an extra. Yeah, that's happened to me. Sorry.
But I'm going to start keeping track because, yeah, that was the joke that me and the younger one had, is that we're going to just be yelling at the drive-through. You owe me an apple pie the last time I was here.
Why don't you guys just you did tell the story about the one time when the order was just so wrong that you drove back to the Taco Bell?
Oh yeah, it's just always like how much time, how far, if you've gotten home, you're sitting down, you've already eaten half of the thing, and then you open up your taco and it's just lettuce, and they've misread it.
That's horrible.
And it's like, oh, am I going to drive all the way back to get, half hour later, get back in the car, it's cold out, and no, it's like, ugh.
Well, you check it right when you.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Also,
so
like
that's what you have to do, and that's what we did last time.
yeah, and when I order, I know the little child, he doesn't like the way I order, and this is how I order. Okay, I'll step away from the mic. I'd like 4 egg McMuffins with no meat. No meat. 4 egg McMuffins, no meat. 1 medium Coke. And he's like, Mom, you don't have to talk so loud. And one time I was like, and a medium Coke. And the person was like, what? What?
But the elder who has been through the drive-thru says also that you don't usually have to yell. It's more about how you state it. If you state it in a confusing way, like you overly complicate the simplicity of what you want, then it's going to cause a problem.
Keep it short.
But I don't order.
Like my
I don't order.
therapist said.
I app order now. So that's the problem is that these app orders.
Oh, yeah, there's probably an error in the programming, right?
Well, that's the thing is I get all my vegan kind of options, and then the youngers order, they just decide that, oh, this must be vegan also. I'm just going to make it a lettuce taco instead of a taco without lettuce. Right?
Is there any way to make 2 separate orders? Probably not, right?
I don't know.
And then just say, hey, I'm picking up 2, because that's what I would like.
Yeah, but the separate, I mean, it's the same people making them.
It's like when we go out for ice cream. You notice I don't go out for ice cream anymore. But anytime we go out for ice cream, if I'm going to eat 1,000 calories of an ice cream, sundae, I want it to be exactly the way I want it to be. And it's not every day that I eat an ice cream sandwich. So like then I'm always like, I would like chocolate ice cream. Chocolate. I know it's weird, but I want chocolate ice cream and then chocolate syrup, not hot fudge. Chocolate ice cream and chocolate syrup. And I will pay for extra. I figured that I will pay. That gets their attention. I will pay for extra chocolate syrup because I don't want you to just put a dot of it in there. No, I will pay for extra chocolate syrup. And that's all. Because then I like size them up, their body language. Can they handle me asking for nuts, or is that going to just throw everything off? Like I'm looking, I think this one can handle the nuts. Can you remember nuts too? I want nuts, And then always comes back with vanilla ice cream and hot fudge. Always.
Who wants that?
No. I'm sorry. I forgot to say I wanted chocolate ice cream.
See, that's your problem is
chocolate
you say
ice
I forgot, so then you make it your fault. That's
doesn't matter whose fault it is. Give me the fucking chocolate ice cream. Okay, so chocolate ice cream. Yes. Oh, yes, and syrup. Yes, please. You know what? Can you put a little more on?
So you just
Can I have like
did
an
you
extra?
just call me a moron?
Yeah.
So the other day, I can't remember why we were talking about Wonder Bread, and I think it was like, because we were talking about white rice and how I said it. Yeah, it tastes great, just like Wonder Bread. And then I looked up Wonder Bread, and
It
first
still
off,
exists.
yeah, the key word in that, when I did the search, the tagline on the Wonder Bread site said Wonder Bread, serving hard-working Americans since 1921.
It's the class war.
Yeah, it's like right out of the gate. And then there are reviews for Wonder Classic White. And so I wanted to read a couple of these because I love these.
Can I say something? That slogan was probably made in the 1950s, maybe. And back then, Rick, Americans were hardworking. All Americans were hardworking. There weren't any people slackers. But Americans back then were hard workers. Okay, go ahead and start reading the Wonder Bread reviews.
So some 5-star reviews. Wonder Bread rules. I've been eating Wonder Bread just about my entire 73 years. None better. Those birdseed bread eaters can keep that dry, crumbly stuff. Give me classic Wonder White Bread for my sandwiches, toast, and all they rest. Lots of typos. My only complaint is that my local grocery, Publix, spelled with a C on the end, doesn't carry the, in quotes, small loaves, not loaves, toasted PBJs. Yum. I consume this product a couple times a week.
What year was that written?
6 months ago.
Okay.
Year ago. Miss my Wonder Bread. I grew up on Wonder Bread. I live in Illinois and didn't even know that Wonder Bread still exists since the Wonder Hostess factory in Davenport, Iowa closed.
That was you that wrote this,
I
right?
just saw the Wonder Bread float on Macy's Parade. Please consider returning to Illinois. Best bread ever. We used to your factory, I think it was tour, the factory, when I was young, and they would give us the cutest little loaves of bread. Loaves is spelled correctly in this one also. I want my Wonder Bread.
And you looked up where you could get Wonder Bread here, and you found out you can't get it. Where did you say?
I think it says Walmart, but I don't know if it's here. Oh, and then this one was good. I would buy this dread again and again is the title of this one, and then all the rest of the comment, the body of the comment is overnight egg casserole. I don't know. I just feel like the culture war is being played out in the in the Wonder Bread arena. Anyways,
that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, what's next on the what do you have next on the docket?
We watched the Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah, we forced our young child who like really did not want to watch that movie. I don't know why he really didn't want to watch. I know he wanted a game, but he really didn't want to watch that. And I think it's because he was scared because he heard that, our PG plus was invented by
No, I don't think so. I think it was because he hadn't seen the other 5 movies. How many of them were there? 4?
I don't know how many.
The other
one with the girl Indiana Jones. That's my Here's the thing, though. That's my Karate Kid reference. Okay. Here's the thing. He wants to watch, like, he's been watching the Karate Kid. Like, he even watched the Kung Fu Karate Kid. So he's not, I think he was afraid. I think he didn't want to see scary things. I really think so.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because he's rewatching Karate Kid with me. I think he was scared.
Interesting.
Anyway, what did you think about it?
I actually was surprised. I did remember seeing the previous one, the atomic bomb in the refrigerator one with Kate Blanchett, because Kate Blanchett was on a can of Dr. Pepper, I remember. Like they had some kind of cross-marketing going on with Dr. Pepper, and I think the free can of, is it possible that the free can of Dr. Pepper I got from the Axl Rose Chinese Democracy promise? So you remember how Dr. Pepper promised everybody a free Dr. Pepper if Chinese Democracy came out in some year? And I feel like I may have it all mixed up together, but I feel like the free Chinese Democracy Dr. Pepper I got had Kate Blanchett on it from the last Indiana Jones movie. So that's all I remember from the last movie. But and yeah, I didn't like Temple of Doom, right? That was the one, right? With the
I like that one with the
monkey heads crushing the monkeys.
I love that
brains,
one.
Monkey brain one.
Yeah, where somebody grabbed the heart. That was the PG.
Yeah, that was the initiator of PG, or one of the motivations for PG-13. And then what was it? The one with James Bond, Sean Connery. I remember that being okay. But this one was good. It was like all action. Had a lot of action, had Nazis. It was good.
Yeah, it had started with Nazis, and which I thought that's you had me at Nazis.
Yeah, back to the old old bad guys,
Yeah.
as opposed to the last one, which had Russians, right? Soviets. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
Kate Blanchett was a
So
Soviet.
you can't go wrong with Nazis. And then the thing with where the bomb like just goes through that was pretty funny. That was good. And also the AI Harrison Ford, I had no problem with it at all. And now you have like conditioned both your children. I can understand the older one, Columbia Man, but like the younger one is just like totally critiquing every fucking thing about
It's
like look at that shot.
It's not me. I mean, that's internet culture, right? They watch
maybe
2 or 4 hour long videos about cinematography and why the Avengers is shot incorrectly or something. It's like, and yeah, so that was the thing. Is like, it's like I was like, oh, I think this is anamorphic, and look at the vignetting going on, and then I looked it up, and I was like, yeah, the guy was intentionally doing a 60s kind of era thing, even though it was shot digital, I believe, but all the lenses he was using were anamorphic and had that look, and then he was pulling focus back and forth, which
are 14. How old is he? 15?
14.
14, which our 14-year-old had to note every camera movement. Oh, it's vignetting now. Like even when I'm watching Karate Kid with him, like the TV series Karate Kid, he's like, look at that, it's all one shot, and I'm like, oh yeah, I guess you're right. And then but also like really ragging on the AI, the Uncanny Valley.
So
Harrison Ford, which I was looking at him, and I thought he was just as beautiful as he normally looked. I didn't see any problem with it at all.
I did, and it's getting better. It's definitely getting better. But like the initial shot of him, youngified Harrison Ford is pretty good. But then he starts talking, and it all goes to hell.
The talking was really bad. But is it because was it his voice? Did he voice it over?
Yeah, and I think as
an old man.
Well, they manipulate it.
It was like more like this. This is not how he talks.
They raise his voice. Up.
Yeah,
they pitch his voice up.
Yeah. I didn't like the voice. The voice kind of. Why does he sound like that? Yeah, that's the only thing. But what about the picture? Where was the problem in the face?
Oh, it's just especially in the far shots where it's tinier, it just kind of degrades into a video game head. and sometimes you can tell it's his head sort of superimposed on a stuntman's body as opposed to a body double.
Well, why would that
It's
be
just-
if it was smaller that it wouldn't look okay?
Because it's lower resolution, right? There's less resolution in to fill in the details, so it doesn't degrade. It's an interesting effect, actually. It's the first time I've kind of noticed it because a lot of times it was good, right?
Yeah.
The only other one was the one that I can tolerate, and I haven't seen. I've avoided most films with the de-aging stuff, like the one. Yeah, the ones I've watched was the Martin Scorsese movie. It was just like an atrocity watching that. But the Blade Runner movie where what's her name? Sean Young, it's like because she's so made up and is already supposed to be an android, that one looked really good, I thought. But that was because, it wasn't, they weren't trying to make her look, she was already very artificial looking.
Wait,
right?
is she in 2024 Blade Runner?
Yeah.
I may have to see that again.
What?
2027, no, 20, whatever.
I can't remember the
called.
year, but 2049, is that right?
Yeah, 2024. Happy 20.
Anyways, but yeah, it's getting better. I mean, it'll get better, but it still made me hinky. I still knew it wasn't really Harrison Ford's head.
Did he have to say that did he have to agree to be AI'd, is there like a...
Yeah, so that's the thing is that, I mean, all of these people have already been scanned, the famous people, and they already have their contracts, but that's because they're in positions of power, right? And so they can negotiate like whether or not that model of their head, gets burned or, destroyed or can't be reused unless they get paid another $1 million or $1 billion, right?
Okay,
It's like they have that all in their contracts. Whereas, I mean, this was part of what was going on with the Screen Actors Guild, right? Is like,
right.
Oh, but it's like, oh, I need $100. You can scan my head, and then you're going to use it in perpetuity. My head, right? My body, my movements, and that's the problem. And so all these famous people, and on top of it, that's the secret that's been going on for at least 20 years. Is like ever since like Benjamin Button, you've got that de-aging stuff, but there's the more subtle de-aging, like just the fact that anytime you see, a famous person like a Brad Pitt or a Julia Roberts. They already have in their contracts and sort of under, in secret, they're getting tweaked, frame by frame, they're just getting rid of wrinkles and polishing them up.
Are they fog lensing them?
Yeah,
Are
it's
they
the
Star Trek
digital equivalent of that Star
lens?
Trek fog lens. Yeah, exactly. Putting Vaseline on the lens. Yeah, it's the equivalent of Garbo having her lighting. She had her lighting guy like always. It's that same thing. That's been
now
in
it's all
existence.
turned around.
So all the computer generated stuff. It's like
Your
you got
vanity.
You got the alien and you've got the youngifying, but then there's the more subtle, youngifying and, filling in your hairline and all that kind of stuff. Like, what they had to do with Hudson Hawk, right? They had to go in and actually paint, frame by frame, animate Bruce Willis's hairline. Whereas now you can just do that digitally. Not that Bruce Willis has a hairline anymore, but other actors, right?
Yeah. Like us, that's what we have. We go through and digitally retouch.
Well, you've seen that, right? Yeah, you can do that. You can do that on Zoom, right? You can have it now in real time, right? It's getting easier and easier. It's just that it's been going on for years. It's just getting cheaper and cheaper and easier to do, right?
God,
to
David
do that for
Foster
everybody.
Wallace was right with the veils in the Infinite Jest. Okay, so what else we got?
What else? We got. Oh, we've only got a few minutes. Tommy Smothers died. Do you remember going to see the Smothers Brothers?
I do.
I'm trying to remember. I was trying to
Airy Crown Theater,
Airy Crown or Drury Lane. I think it was Drury Lane, wasn't it?
Your mom would
in Oakbrook.
I went with you. I went with you guys, and I was sitting there going, "This is what real white people do." Like that's what I was thinking. I was like, "Well, like when we were first going out, your family took me to this," and I was like,
"No,
God.
It was not when we were first going out. So it must have been in the late '90s."
So
and it was before our kid was born, but I was the one who initiated it. Nobody else. I bought tickets for everybody.
Right,
and we
I
went
remember
to see
that
him,
too. Yeah,
see them, and it was. What was weird about it? Do you remember this? Is like the show opened and they showed a video, And we were by far the youngest people there.
I remember that too.
And me and my brother.
Yeah.
You know, my parents were actually after us, were pretty young also. It was a pretty old crowd at the time. And they opened with a video, just kind of like Morrissey did, right? When he opened with a video.
Oh my God! Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
But they had an opener of like kind of the highlights of the Smothers Brothers show, and it was all the '60s stuff, like the Doors playing and the Who playing and everything like that. And there are a bunch of people sitting watching, like a generation earlier, you know, folkies basically, right? Yeah. So my parents' age, and you know, and older. And it was like that was the weirdest thing is they were kind of leaning into the 60s thing, and it was like there aren't a lot of 60, you know, not a lot of hippies, you know, Doors fans here. It's all people who are a generation right before that. Like maybe some Bob Dylan fans, but like Bob Dylan pre-electric kind of fans, right?
Right.
And so that was the weirdest thing. And then they did their thing, and it was great. I always loved them, you know. That was the great thing is my mom said, "Oh, he's so stupid." You know, it's like she's just laughing. It's like he's so stupid. It's like that character, the Tommy Smothers character, is so effective. Like just the stupidity of it, and the fact is that he was the one who basically created that whole persona and the routine and everything. His brother, you know, is just kind of along for the ride, the straight man, right? And Tommy Smothers was the architect of all that, and then, you know, ran the writer's room for the Smothers Brothers show. And then, you know, Steve Martin was on that, and Rob Reiner, you know, writers for that. I think not Albert Brooks, right? I think Albert Brooks wrote for the weird alternative Laugh-In, the computer Laugh-In that was watching a while ago, which is really crazy. They finally put some episodes up on YouTube. But it was. But I read somebody was writing about them, and it was like anybody under the age of 40 has absolutely no idea who these people are, right? And that's the other thing is like, and I would say even older, right? It's like the reason why I know them for some reason, because I don't know, I think probably because I watched The Kids Are All Right, and I saw that, and then I was interested in comedy, and I think I watched the show when it came back in the 70s. I probably watched their variety show. I watched a lot of variety shows. And then Tommy Smothers would come on Johnny Carson and do yo-yo stuff and do a Johnny Carson imitation too, actually.
I see.
Anyways.
I think I remember that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for reminding me that we went to see them.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
It was like funny. They were funny.
Yeah.
And they had political stuff too. I can't remember what year it would have been. They were making fun of Bill Clinton. It might have been that long ago. Or they were making fun of George W. Bush.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah. It would have been a long time ago.
Yeah. We went to see the Mummenschanz too.
Yeah.
You took me to see that. Like
that was recently. That was like in the past 5 years.
Okay. Cody B says Smothers Brothers were too cutting edge for my grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
They were very left wing political, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Tommy Smothers is like I posted it, nobody cares about it, but like Give Peace a Chance, the John and Yoko Bedin, Tommy Smothers is there. It's like when you listen to that recording, he's the other acoustic guitar. He's playing, he even gets name checked in the song.
Yeah.
And it's like he's there with Timothy Leary. Yeah, he's definitely part of the whole political movement and, you know, rock and folk. Yeah, like Pete Seeger, you know, having him on the show and stuff. Yeah, so it was, yeah.
Speaking of Timothy Leary, you know, like, okay, I was doom scrolling or whatever I was doing yesterday, making food or something, and then like the Dalai Lama went live. I follow the Dalai Lama on Facebook, and like Dalai Lama is live now, and I was like, oh, I better click on that, you know, and like from Dharamsala, he's giving teachings, and I think he does this always like at the end of the year. So I was like, oh, I'll click on that. And like, so like it's pretty crazy that you can just click on your phone. Your phone can tell you that the Dalai Lama is in India giving a teaching, and you can watch it, you know, and we've seen him before live. Like I've seen him a couple of times. And so like, so I watched it for a while, and I watched the comments, you know, like the comment stream. And I wrote, people were like, hello from wherever. So I wrote, hello from Illinois. And then I got a response from some asshole. Cody B says Timothy Leary experimented on the Butthole Surfers. That's more exciting than what I'm talking about here too. I would like to know more. Do you know anything about that?
No.
I'll just finish. Okay, we'll have
Try to finish your thought though.
So what? Yeah, somebody was like trolling the Dalai Lama's like Facebook feed. Like what? Like trolling.
Why not?
I guess why not? So
Why not?
like he eats meat, and then people were trying to defend. I don't know. He wrote to me like under my hello from Illinois. He like wrote some Bible verse or something, and I was like, okay. But other
Love
people
to know what that Bible verse was.
I can look it up probably. I don't know what it was. Like it's probably something about false prophets or something like that. Because he was on about that. Like the troll was on about that. And people were like, somebody else was like, you don't understand about Buddhism. You can be a Buddhist and you can practice this and still be a Christian. But I'm like, oh God. So I turned the comment stream off. The last comment that I remember seeing was somebody saying, translation, please. And then I realized that, we were just watching like the straight on, like, I guess maybe he was talking in Tibetan. It's like I watched that for like a good half hour. And then I was like, I think I'm going to look for a translation. So went to his site and there's translated in every language. Like he's wanting to get these, his teachings out. So, and he's just reviewing the like Nagarjuna, like it's a philosopher that like, just kind of has like a good take on like the basic Buddhist teachings of, I think it's kind of like impermanence and like the nature of, the true nature of people and stuff like that. So I listened to it in English for a while, the translation in English, and that was kind of
God's
reminded
language.
me. Yeah, God's language, English. That's right. And it just reminded me, to like, it reminded me of the time when I used to sit with the Buddhist Sangha and everything like that. And, kind of like reminded me to put stuff into perspective. So that was kind of fun. And I think he's doing teachings all week. So I was hoping that we weren't going online the same time as him.
Yeah, wouldn't want to compete with the Dalai Lama.
I wouldn't want to. Yeah.
How old is he?
I don't know. Old 80s. Oh, I got a picture on my watch, but it's not of a dead person. My nose just like is wet. I was afraid my
That's
nose
healthy,
was going to start bleeding.
Oh,
yeah, but it's not. Okay. So
he wasn't
what else
born
you got?
in 1391. I think we're done. We got yeah. So if you look up Dalai Lama, you get all of them. You can't even though there's a picture of the current dude. I guess they all are the same person. 1935. Wow. So he's getting there.
Yeah. He looked the same as and then like at the end, and people were eating and stuff, and then like there were thousands of like pilgrims there in Dharamsala, and then like he got into like a little buggy and they drove him away and he was waving and stuff, and you got to see all that too. It was really neat, like little behind the scenes with the Dalai Lama.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, what else you got?
That's it. I think we're done.
Oh, come on.
We've got into over an hour.
Okay.
And I don't want
right.
to squeeze.
I didn't want to end with the Dalai Lama.
Well, I
guess
did.
May as well. Okay. All right.
All right.
You heard it here. Happy New Year, everybody.
I'm sure 2024 is going to be great. I'm looking forward to it.
Why not?